das sind sie, die Details zu den beiden Boxern. Erstmal die Punkte und Ringrichter. Geht dieser Fight über die volle Distanz, dann entscheiden diese 3 Punktrichter. Es sind Ingo Barabas aus Egenhausen, Deutschland, Norbert Dürnberger aus Steyr, Österreich und Jörg Mielke aus Cottbus, Deutschland. Ringrichter des Kampfes Josef Temmel aus Wien. Und das sind sie, die Details zu den beiden Kontrahenten. Der Boxer aus Großbritannien boxt aus der roten Ecke. Er ist 37 Jahre alt, offizielles Kampfgewicht exakt 74 Kilogramm bei einer Größe von 1,83 Meter. Profiboxer seit 1997, seine Statistik. 34 Kämpfe, 29 Siege, 14 davon durch Knockout. Sein Coach, Joseph. Aus England, Steve Bendall. In der blauen Ecke, der Mann aus dem Sauerland-Team. 23 Jahre ist er alt, offizielles Kampfgewicht beim gestrigen Wiegen. 73,9 Kilogramm, Größe 1,77 Meter. Seine Kampfbilanz. 24 Kämpfe, 24 Siege, 9-mal durch Knockout. Sein Trainer aus Neckarsulm, Deutschland. Der Heavyweight im Mittelgewicht. Dominik Britsch. Wer verlässt den Ring als Sieger nach diesem Fight? Bendall oder Dominik Britsch? Die Antwort jetzt aus der Messehalle in Erfurt.
Gentlemen.
Well, here we go then. My name's Steve Holder. Delighted to say I've been joined once again by the former British and world super middleweight champion, Glenn Catley. Steve Bendall facing us against this young fella, Dominik Britsch, 23 years of age, against Bendall, 37 now. And Glenn, well, almost a division near to your heart.
Yes, me and Steve go way, way back. I actually used Steve Bendall as a sparring partner when I won the world title back in 2000 against Marcus Bayer. Very capable fighter. And yeah, this is his second time in Germany. And there, I hate to say it, but his last time in Germany was when he boxed Sebastian Sylvester for the European title, and unfortunately got stopped in 3 rounds on cuts. But a very capable fighter. Very well scored.
Indeed. So Steve Bendall in the southpaw in the white shorts, or silvery, no, actually they're Coventry shorts, aren't they? They're Coventry blue. He's actually from Coventry, 37 years of age now. His record is 29 wins, 14 inside. He's lost 5 in 34 outings, so a very decent record there. Was a very, very good amateur as well, boxed at national level, and also became English champion as a pro. And as for Britsch, well, he's only 23, and he's won 24 out of 24. And this is all about, Glenn, this is about the movement of Britsch now, isn't it? This is about Britsch's future. And what they're trying to do, of course, is match him sensibly, which I think they've done here with Stevie Bendall. He can certainly learn some things off Bendall, and he'll have to be at the top of his game to beat Steve Bendall, won't he?
That's right. I mean, Steve Bendall is not a formidable puncher. He's not renowned as being a great puncher, but he's gonna test him. He's gonna move him around the ring, and he's gonna learn an awful lot from this fight.
Indeed he is. 8 rounds it's scheduled for, and Erfurt, by the way, right bang in the middle of Germany. You probably already know that, but in case you don't, that's where we are. And incidentally, it's an interesting fact about Dominik Britsch. He's actually a very decent pianist as well. So there you go.
Okay, so you learned, so I didn't realise that, Steve.
Yeah, very decent pianist. Boxed in the USA a couple of times, and as I say, on the up and up now, 24 fights, 24 wins, and he's stopped only 9. Not a huge puncher, but he's a very capable individual.
That's right. Very squat, very compact fighter, Steve. You know, very, very correct, as typically of the German fighters.
Yeah, only 5'9½", as opposed to Steve Bendall, who's 6 feet tall. And as you said so rightly, Glenn, he's not a big puncher, but he's a decent thinking fighter, isn't he?
That's right. Very precise, Steve. Very, very, very accurate with his shots. You know, he's 37 years of age now. We've got to be realistic. We've got to see what he's going to be like, you know. And his first fight, I think, since, well, back in 2009 was his last fight, you know. So he's had a little bit of a layoff. I don't know if that was due to injury or just an absence from the ring. I don't know. But Just going to see how he's going to perform tonight.
Yes, he lost the English title. He won, beating Paul Smith. He lost it to Darren McDermott in his last fight. That was, as Glenn said, about 2 years ago now. Lost on points over 10 rounds. Other decent names on the record, by the way, include Darren Barker, British, Commonwealth and European champion. Wayne Elcock, another decent fight. He went in the 8th round against Wayne Elcock. That was good form. Had a good win over Conroy McIntosh, and that's never easy against McIntosh. After the Sylvester fight. Another couple worth of mentioning. He was beaten by Scott Dan, the Plymouth fighter, decent one as well. And he also beat Kresnik Chato. And there's the first round. And that was a pretty close one, but
for me, it was Britsch that just nicked that.
Yeah,
just
about. Yeah, worth a mention also. Beat a pal of mine called Darren Coble back in 1999. I think that was his 3rd or 4th fight for Stephen Bendall. But Dominik Britsch, there he is, 23. And as I say, a renowned pianist. He could do one or the other. But of course, hand-wise, you can only do one or the other, can't you? You can't really do both at the same time. So a bit of replay coming up then. Big swiping left hook missed there from Stevie Bendall. Took a left hook back from Britsch. Referee for this one is Josef Temmel.
And as always, the ever expressionate Ule Wegner is the trainer.
Yeah, decent man, Ule Wegner. Knows how to get the best out of these fighters. Very paternal as well. So round 2 of a scheduled 8 in the middleweight division. And Steve Bendall, the Brit from Coventry in the West Midlands, in the light blue Coventry coloured shorts. Same colour, of course, as the football team. And Steve Bendall's best chance here to try and keep this one as long as he possibly can. Britsch, of course, will need to get nice and close. Bendall landing there. Hasn't taken a shot yet in round 2.
Yeah, you can see Steve there, Steve Bendall there, Steve, just trying to get his jab off, trying to keep Britsch at bay, and as you say, that's going to be his best game plan for the actual fight.
But of course, the problem for Stephen here, he doesn't have to go forward looking for a fight with Britsch. He's just got to sort of glide backwards and poke out his shots as Britsch comes forward, which he inevitably will.
That's right, that's right.
But of course, Steve, you know, he enjoys a fight, so he's going to go looking for one, isn't he?
That's right. Sometimes with Steve, his heart overrules his head, you know, and sometimes he gets drawn into a battle. You know, Steve's got all the ability under the world, and sometimes I wish he'd stick to his boxing because that's where he's going to do better in this fight.
Yeah, and it's resulted, of course, in 4 defeats inside 5 via stoppage, and you know that they could have been avoided, I suspect.
I don't know about you, Steve. I think Britsch got a mark underneath his left eye.
It certainly has. It's a bump, isn't it? Not quite sure how that's occurred. Very good crowd here at the Messerhalle.
Okay.
This by the well, possibly a head clash. I don't know. Messerhalle, by the way, is like an exhibition hall. In fact, it is an exhibition hall.
But the very hospitable crowd being the Germans, as always, Steve.
Absolutely. Yeah, drinks available, food available. Always very... And it's ironic as well about German crowds. They love the technical side of boxing. They're not really into the blood and guts of the game.
That's right. As you put it, Steve, they really appreciate the technical side of boxing, and it really is an art form for them.
So Henry Mascot would have been their absolute favourite, although he was in the odd war.
So early days, but both fighters at this point, Steve, I think it's fair to say they're just sort of still trying to find each other out a little bit, you know?
Yeah, not a bad round for Steve Bendall. He's possibly got his nose in front.
Yeah, I have to agree with that.
A few seconds to go here. He's learned a bit from the first round, of that there's no doubt. But as I say, he doesn't have to take a forward step. Nice little combination there from Bendall, and it looks like he's won the second round there.
Yeah, one apiece for me, Steve. I have to agree with you on that.
19 points apiece, then 2 gone, potentially 6 to go. I say potentially because you never know, it could end at any time. And I've got to say also that Steve Bendall may be the biggest name so far on the Dominik Britsch record. As I say, they're moving him up now, and Bendall is the first of the stepping zones. At least they hope it will be. No guarantee. Round apiece for Glenn Catley and myself. Bit of tape come loose there on the left glove of the Englishman.
Time. Hooks.
So tall southpaw from Coventry, Steve Bendall, hands high. Just got pipped at the post there by Britsch.
Let him go.
And that left swelling underneath the left eye appears to have been kept under control by the corner.
Just looks like Steve's growing in confidence now, Steve.
Yeah, he's competing on pretty equal terms at the moment, isn't he?
And as we know, Steve, when you fight in Germany, sometimes when you're fighting a German fighter in Germany, you have to go above, and dare I say it, above the call of duty.
Absolutely.
To get the full. Nice little exchange there.
Yeah, but I thought Stevie Bendall's was slightly better. Yes, he is boxing with a degree of confidence here.
Clean. Box.
And it will be a good win for Britsch if he can achieve it. And of course the other problem here for Dominik is he's actually moving entirely the wrong way against the southpaw.
He's walking onto that backhand.
Well, we all know, Glenn, don't we? Against the southpaw, you've got to move off to your own left, which nullifies the stronger, potentially stronger left hand of your southpaw opponent and gives you room to get through with the left hook.
That's right.
Which is also a very good shot against the southpaw. And Britsch is giving all that advantage away here.
And we just seen that Steve throw that backhand, then it landed flush on the chin. Took it well, but just goes to prove that he's moving the wrong way.
Indeed. Well, you can't tell him. And some fighters, of course, have got a natural bias. I had a natural bias to go to my own left. I don't know about you, Glenn.
Again, it was dictated by whether the opponent was an orthodox or southpaw.
Well, I never had the brains for that kind of thing. Well, a fairly close round this, but Britsch, well, despite moving the wrong way, might just be a little bit too busy.
Some nice body shots going in from both fighters, Steve. It's nice to see.
Absolutely. Yes, boxing's taken Stevie Bendall to South Africa and Germany once before, and has taken Britsch to America on 2 occasions. Took you around the world as well, Glenn, didn't it?
Yeah, been a couple of places, Steve.
That you wouldn't have been otherwise.
That's right. Well, for me, Steve, I've got to be honest, I give that round to Stevie Bendall.
Well, I'm going to call that one level, actually, if you don't mind.
I think he done the more eye-catching work, the better shots.
Listen, what you need to start doing, yeah? Listen, please. Steve, listen to me, listen. Please, 3 times. Listen, what you got to start doing, yeah? So using your height and reach your body. Yeah? Use your height.
Well, at 37 years of age, you've got to say that Steve Bendall is coming towards the end of his... well, he's had a good run as a fighter, of that there is no doubt. But I think his best days are behind him now, and he'd probably be the first to admit it. Was it difficult for you to admit?
No. No, it wasn't, and which is nice, because as you say, Steve, it's the fighters that still think they can go to the well that sometimes fall into trouble. You know, I knew that I was coming to the end of my career, and I knew I wasn't as good as I was a younger guy, and I had a great career, but enough was enough for me.
Absolutely. Well, at least you won the British, beating Neville Brown, and of course then the world title, beating Eric Lucas and Marcus Bayer, and you know, some great names on the record. Anyway, round 4. So Dominik Britsch, then the German in the black shorts with the white striping, against Steve Bendall. And I've got them dead level. Glenn Catley's got Steve Bendall 1 in front. Yes, they've handled that swelling well underneath the left eye. That would have been, of course, the end swell that did that. Those that don't know an end swell, it's a solid silver piece of apparatus kept in an ice bucket, very, very cold, and it's pressed on the swelling, and generally does a pretty good job of pressing the swelling away. Was it ever something, Glenn, that you were forced to have to use?
Thankfully, you know, looking back, I never really suffered much with severe swelling. I had lumps and bumps, of course I did, but never drastic measures.
They'll go down one day.
Steve, if my memory serves me right, Steve, he did suffer earlier on in his career with quite badly with cuts, and touch wood, so far, no problems at all.
Yep, and not making a bad job of things here.
I think he's handling himself terrifically at the moment in time.
So you sparred with Stevie Bendall prior to your world title fight?
Yes, we went to Jersey, Channel Islands of Jersey. We went there for 2 weeks. I had Steve Bendall and Sam Solomon, 2 southpaws.
Excellent. And of course, one was big, one was small.
Absolutely right, and they gave me hell.
Steve Bendall, by the way, being the big one, and I think Sam Solomon's about 5'9".
Yeah. But great guys, both great guys. I don't know, Steve, for me the more consistent work is coming from Steve.
I think you're absolutely right in this round. Of course, Britsch really does value that undefeated 24-fight record.
And that was a good backhand from Britsch.
Nice sharp shot.
Steve is very, very tough. He does take a great shot. Oh, and he took another one flush on the chin.
Yes, I've got a feeling here that Britsch has realised that things are not going his way. So he's going to start stepping things up. And that's another problem for southpaws against orthodox fighters, is they tread on each other's feet. Oh, a point off here for something. What was that?
And I think that referee's been quite unfair to Steve.
That's a terrible
the whole fight.
For what?
Last warning. Time. Hooks.
For what? I fail to understand.
I think it's because Steve lifted him up. Britsch coming close, slumped over Steve, and Steve lifted him up.
And this was a good round, of course, for Steve Bendall. Up until that point. Took a couple of sharp rights, of course he did. But it was a round he was winning. And there's the bell. Well, that's going to be a 10-10 round for me, Glenn. I thought he won the round, but lost a point. And of course, you can't have a 9-9 round. It's a 10-point must system. It's 10-10. If you think it's...
You're going to see it now, I think, Steve. Oh, there's the good shot. Like I say,
good shot.
He does take a good shot, Steve Bendall. But hopefully it become apparent and become clear why he had that point deduction. And I think it was...
Well, I couldn't imagine what it was. He said he was fighting dirty. I didn't see that. Didn't see that for 1 second. And you know, they would have concentrated surely on an incident had there been one.
Seconds out, please.
Oh,
well, nothing that we've seen so far, Steve, would indicate a point deduction.
Nope. Anyway, here we go, round 5, the halfway stage. I've got him 39-39. Glenn?
I got him the same, Steve. Yep. No, I got Steve Bendall one point ahead.
Okie dokie. This is round 5. And Steve Bendall, hands high. Once again, stalking forward, which I don't believe he needs to do, but he obviously enjoys that style.
Again, a good backhand from Britsch.
Yeah, but did it land on the glove or the target? That was a rhetorical question, by the way.
I'd like to see the replay. It looked like a good shot to me.
Still all to play for on my card. Well, Couple of decent body shots there from Bendall. And I suspect he'd swap it all, this ability all, for a one big shot. Which, of course, you were famous for.
Well,
although you could box as well.
Thank you very much. But I was blessed with I was blessed with dare I say it, I'm about trying to be big head. I was blessed with strength and
you're very powerful, weren't you?
Quite heavy-handed, dare I say. And sometimes, Steve, it was always your get out of jail card. You know, it's handy to have it.
Yes, indeed, especially against Marcus Beyer.
Yeah.
But of course, you pulled it out when it really mattered. Now the problem here is, can Britsch do that?
That's right.
Well, so far it's decent boxing in this round.
It is. I think that, you know, the volume, the more quality volume of shots coming from Steve, but the eye-catching power shots are certainly coming from Britsch. It's just how the judge is going to be seeing this, Steve.
Yeah, well, Britsch there again complaining about illegal use of the head. Didn't see that either. And I get the feeling that the psychological pressure is telling on Dominik Britsch. But then again, it would, I suppose, at any level, really. But especially when you're protecting a 24-fight record.
That's right, that's right. And he's still, dare I say, he's 23 years of age, still fairly new to the game.
Yep, and Stevie Bendall, of course, at 37. You couldn't call him a newcomer by any means. But still boxing well for a man of his years. It's not old, of course, chronologically, but in boxing terms, it can be. Bloody nose now for Bendall. Another reasonably close round, but I think Bendall's nicked it.
Well, I'm going to disagree with you, unfortunately, Steve. I give that round to Britsch. I think the eye-catching shots were coming from him.
So 3 rounds to go then. Dominik Britsch, the undefeated German, 24 fights, not out. Only 9 wins inside the limit, which would suggest he wouldn't have the power here to bother Steve Bendall too much. But I've got him a point behind at 49-48. I think you've got him dead level, Glenn, haven't you?
Dead level with, you know, both fourth round a draw. So
problem again here with the glove of Steve Bendall. Oh. Sorry, shorts came down. That's pretty normal anyway. I didn't give that any attention.
That's better work from Steve. I'd just like to see him peppering that jab out a little bit more frequently.
Not much of a hooker, Steve Bendall, is he? He's a straight puncher.
He's very much an upright, straight, come forward type fighter. Not much of a powerful sort of hook throw, if you like.
What was your best punch, Glenn?
I think it possibly had to be the left sort of hook come uppercut, you know. Being short, squat.
Yeah, you screwed it in, didn't you?
Yeah.
Well, this is good action now from these two. And Britsch, of course, knows he's got to do something here because it could be a lot closer than he'd like.
Yeah, Steve Bendall's given him everything to think about, Steve, at the moment.
Yes, problems here for Britsch to solve. And of course, that's what the game's all about. It's about learning every fight you have, regardless of whether you win or lose.
Let him go.
But as the fight progresses, Steve being 37, we're going to see what sort of legs he's going to have left.
Yes, indeed. And there's never been much between them. But I just get the feeling that Steve Bendall could have made life just a bit easier for himself had he not gone looking for a punch-up. Because that's what he was going to get. If you take the fight to someone like Britsch, you're going to get hit back. And then, of course, you've got to throw back.
That's right.
But if you just glide backwards and allow him to close the gap and catch him coming forward, easy for me to say, of course. But on paper, at the moment, Steve Bendall's doing a good job.
He's holding his own, definitely.
Well, I think Josef Temmel there is making a huge fuss over nothing. Our referee. Keep it clean. I didn't see anything dirty at all, did you?
No. And neither did I previously when he deducted the point from Steve.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah, in fact, yes, there was a point off, wasn't there? I've already taken that into account. You're okay.
Britsch going for broke there, hearing the last clap of the bell.
Well, you go.
That was an even round for me, Steve. A little bit tit for tat.
Well, I've still got Stevie Bendall a point in front. How have you got it?
I've still got my draw.
So either way you look at it, Steve Bendall is actually doing very well.
But as we mentioned earlier on, Steve, we're in Germany, fighting a German fighter. You know, sometimes, as you well know, and I said previously, you have got to go above and beyond the call of duty to guarantee the win.
Indeed.
Some would say in Germany you sometimes have to knock them out to draw.
Having said that, it's the same over in England, Glenn. It's the same in Italy. You know, there's so much investment in various fighters that you know, the last thing that the promoter wants, of course, is his own man getting beaten on his own soil.
That's right.
And you know, that occurs everywhere.
That's right. I mean, I'm sure Steve, as you said earlier on, was brought across to give him a good test and a good learning experience, but he's doing all of that. He's doing more than I think what the promoter would like him to do.
Indeed, yes. Penultimate round in round 7, and just remind you, Dominik Britsch in the black shorts against Steve Bendall from Coventry in England. Steve Bendall, of course, one of Glenn Catley's former sparring partners. Was that prior to the Bayer fight?
It was before the firefight, as I say. We went to Jersey and Channel Islands for 2 weeks. And him and Sam Solomon, they gave me everything I could handle.
Yep, 2 decent southpaws. And a slow hand clap, by the way, in Germany doesn't mean the same as it does over in England. It's an appreciation as opposed to a criticism. Oh, nice right there. Oh, no, and again from Britsch. Well, they may make a huge difference now. Oh, a couple of good right hooks.
Again, all we can do is give Steve Bendall credit, because that took a thunderous shot there, but he's staying on his feet. Didn't seem to rock him and trouble him too much.
Absolutely. Good shots there from Britsch, but a couple of decent right hooks came back from Steve Bendall, which shouldn't be forgotten. And I've got a feeling they've said to him in the corner, hey, this is too close to call. Get out there and get some work done.
Yeah, you've got to step up again. I'm sure that's what they've said, Steve.
Instead of that blood on the back of the neck of Britsch is from the nose of Steve Bendall. Not a cut on the neck. Once again, the German crowd thoroughly enjoying Britsch's contribution here. Yeah, he's kept the pressure on, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's starting to unload a little bit now, Britsch.
Because he has to.
Steve just trying to hold on, bide a little bit of time.
Well, Steve's giving him a good fight. And don't forget, of course, that European title fight against Sebastian Sylvester that Steve Bendall had once again in Germany. So he's no stranger to these shores.
Good hooks from both fighters then.
A nice right again from Britsch. Good round this for Dominik Britsch. Yep, indeed. Well, that's leveled it up for me. 68 points apiece, all in the last round as far as I'm concerned, Glenn.
Okay, it was one round ahead for me, Britsch now. Just the more eye-catching, powerful shots came from Britsch in that round.
Entscheidende muss sein, dass aber keine Größe geben in der Verteidigung. Schön stehen lassen. Geh aus der Linie, such dir jetzt deine Chance.
Just a bit of facial damage there to deal with.
Sicher sein, ne?
That bumper's now turned to a graze underneath the left eye.
Wie viel lässt du dich gehen? Jetzt werden wir die erstmal eine Schönheitsoperation machen.
And obviously a bit of damage on the bridge of the nose as well.
Dass du gut aussiehst.
Well, I don't speak Germany, Steve, but I'm pretty sure Luvetna will be saying, listen, last round you've got to make certain of winning this fight. You've really got to up the pace a little bit.
Okie dokie. Nice right. Anyway, here we go. 8th and final round now to decide this one on my card anyway. Dead level at 68 points apiece. And the winner of the last round takes the verdict for me. And Glenn Catley has got Dominik Britsch one in front. So a good finish here by Steve Bendall. We'll see him get a draw for Glenn.
Again, Steve starting off well, taking the initiative.
And really, Britsch has got to fight like he's never fought before. And we know he can fight.
That's right.
Seen him many times.
This is much better work from Steve. Got to keep that jab in Britsch's face, not let him settle. Set his feet, plant his feet and get his shots off.
Keep clean. Box.
Much better work.
Well, Dominik Britsch will better hope he's got a good last minute left in him, because at the moment he's starting very, very slowly here in this round, isn't he?
Very slowly. You know, you'd think he'd come out just to make sure that to guarantee the win and go all guns blazing. He certainly hasn't done that, Steve.
Certainly not. And it's decent boxing by Steve Bendall.
That's right, and he's come out. And Steve Bendall, for me, at the point in time, is looking at the younger of the two guys. He's looking the fresher of the two. He certainly good exchange of shots then from both fighters.
I think there's a cut underneath the left eye of Bendall now.
Like I said, he did suffer previously with cuts.
Oh, what's he doing?
Time.
I can't understand that. Josef Temmel once again ticking off Steve Bendall there. Don't know what for. Haven't noticed anything myself. He must be psychic, Glenn.
He certainly gives Steve a bit of a hard time during this fight.
Well, it's a reasonably close one, but I've got Bendall winning. And you'll have it a draw, won't you, if it stays like this?
Steve, yep, he's winning this round, Steve.
Well, this is all that Britsch needs. Just a bit of encouragement.
Okay, Britsch realised we're putting into the last sort of 30 seconds of the fight. Good shot from Steve Bendall.
Yeah, he took a meaty left hook, though.
Well, the referee's been very busy tonight, Steve.
Too busy. And if you've wondered why they always have an enormous ring in German boxing, they have a ring that suits the style. Unlike some British fighters could do it in a phone box, these guys like space.
They certainly do.
As you found out when you fought Marcus Bayer. Well, coming towards the end now of round 8. Very little to... I'm gonna leave this one to the judges, Glenn. I personally think Bendall possibly nicked it. Yeah, I've got him nicking it 78-77.
Well, whichever way it goes, Steve, it should only be on a split decision.
Yeah, I've got it 5 rounds. Sorry, 3 rounds to 2, with 3 even. Now, the 3 even rounds, obviously, you could have gone in favour of Dominik Britsch, and they probably did. In the event of a close round, that's what tends to happen. But you know, I mean, as a you know, an impartial sort of observer, I've got Bendall winning by a point. Glenn, what's your score?
I've got it a draw, an absolute draw at this point.
And that would be perfectly fair too.
Yeah. Which, in my opinion, is a good win for Steve Bendall, because he wasn't brought over to win this fight. You know, he's brought basically to give this guy a good test, a good lesson. But Steve's, you know, he's done very, very well tonight.
Well, here we go then for the official verdict when this bit's been done. Here we go.
Meine Damen und Herren, hier ist das offizielle Urteil. Ingo Barabas wertet den Kampf 77 zu 74, 77-74.
6 rounds to 3.
79 zu 73, 79-73 und Jörg Mielke.
Oh, goodness me, 7 rounds to 1.
73, 78, 73. Alle drei
And 7 rounds to 2.
Sieger aus Deutschland, Dominik Britsch.
Well, Britsch does win it, but some of those scores, I'm afraid, were way off as far as me and Glenn are concerned. Britsch has won it. I thought Bendall nicked it, but there you go. That's the way of the game. Good luck to Britsch, 25-0 now.